to say I was here under happier circumstances. I was pretty cheerful today, but now I'm really not. So we had a bunch of fun stuff planned here. I was thinking, wow, we got some cool things I can show. I can show pictures of the area, what the firefighters are working on saving. I could happily report that Markleyville's been saved. I could even show these awesome videos that our very own resident firefighter Iceman had taken and so generously shot for us. I was real excited to bring you guys that content. And then what happened? I got a little bit feverish and had to go back to bed and sign in the morning for you guys. Just as I was about to go to bed, a friend says, "Hey, have you seen this?" It was some funny video about a car going airborne in Butte City. And I went, haha, yeah, that is funny. You think I'll go to bed? But I can't go to bed. Oh, I'm so sorry, my volume is super low. Hang on, let me fix that. Yep, I'm in the wrong microphone. What in the world? Hang on a second. Technical difficulties. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, if it won't me restart this, I gotta start the stream again. I'm sorry. All right, I hope that we are back. So sorry about that. So yeah, as people trickle in, I'll sort of delay here what I was about to do. I need to assess the situation for myself. I was in the process of trying to go to bed with this fever that I'm rocking. Pretty ironically, myself and Iceman came down with a fever and sinus problems at the same time. He's pretty far away from me. He even went out to shoot a little bit of the response to the Markleyville Tamarack fire, and it was pretty awesome. I thought, man, I'm gonna get online and I'm gonna share with you guys these funny videos that he shot where he's talking out of his head with fever, and he's nevertheless going out there into the smoke and dirt and dust and hot wind to bring us these images. He was real cheerful about it, and they look really cool. But man, did I get sick with my own sinus infection today. I've been pretty nauseated. And boy, if I suddenly disappear, just know that I'm probably stumbling my way over to the sacred white bowl to kneel before it and humbly submit my gastronomic donation to the Church of Nausea. As you can tell, I have a fever, but you know, I was jolly today. I was happy. I was like, you know what? We get to have a fun time. I will share these photos. I will share these photos. I said to myself of places like Seneca and all these ghost towns that firefighters have been saving year after year from these fires. In fact, I was sharing them with an Australia friend the other night. I found some of my old pictures. And once my friend in Kentucky alerted me to this really interesting viral video of a car going airborne in Yuba City. What's really funny about that, he goes, "Hey, have you seen this thing?" And I said, "I recognize that neighborhood." He goes, "No way." Well, yes way. And I thought it was still very funny. So here I was jolly and in a good mood. And then I went to find out more about that interesting viral video. And here I go to KCRA and they said this. They're saying this. Dixie Fire grows. And PG&E has reported California utility regulators that its equipment may have been involved in starting the Dixie Fire. They have prompted evacuations and is threatening hundreds of structures. So there are new evacuation orders, and when I saw this, it broke my heart because the very places I was celebrating the saving of, you know, Seneca and such, well, the fire is now rearing its ugly head and racing towards Seneca. I am beyond outraged. I am keeping under a tight rein right now. an incredible, overwhelming sense of anger that this company is still allowed to operate. I don't understand it. They're we got to stay positive though. We got to stay strong. We got to stay Butte strong in this instance because they're coming to burn us out again. Just negligence or whatever the heck happened this time. I can't believe it. But I knew that instead of going to bed, I gotta go live. I have to monitor this situation. So if you're just coming in, I'm gonna try to monitor what the Dixie Fire is doing now. And mind you, I am feverish and I have not slept a wink in a day or two. Um, just been too ill. So more evacuations were issued Monday for the residents in the community of Seneca, the historic ghost town of Seneca, which has a few people living in cabins there, some of which I know. The Plumas County Sheriff's Office said as of Monday evening, courtesy of KCRA, the fire had burned 40.5 acres. Sorry, 40,000.5 acres and was 15% contained. And that's mainly in the area towards the southwest of the Feather River Canyon. So the area by Polga, Orville looks like it's okay, knock on wood. But the fire is spreading north by northeast with the wind, and it has jumped lines and is now threatening a lot up there. A lot of people, a lot of structures, a lot of livestock, a lot of animals, a lot of historic resources, and a lot of places that they worked so hard to save over the past, well, decade. I mean, there were other places at the Moonlight Fire and smaller fires that people didn't know about outside the state of California. There's a lot more of these heroic efforts than we see on the national news to go and save these historic places and the cabins and critical infrastructure, etc. that's up there involving power lines and dams and whatnot. I just cannot believe this. So there are concerns about the fire heading to the community of Jonesville. The fire is not, however, moving towards Paradise or Magalia. Yeah, it's going up the canyon. It's going uphill. We're about to monitor that in a second. A meteorologist Cal Fires said the fire at some point generated a thunderstorm above itself. The fire sparked July 13th north of the Crested Dam, which is not far from where the campfire ignited. And it claimed the lives of more than 80 people. And just as an aside, I'm no longer reading the article. That is, as you know, Polga, Crested Dam, right in that area. This is exactly where the campfire started. Probably within a rock's throwing distance. So we were speculating about this the other day. That could it be? Didn't they de-energize those lines? They said they did. The ones that caused California's most deadly fire in history. You think they did, but I don't know what's going on here. So during a Sunday evening briefing, officials said the fire jumped to the other side of Highway 70 and spread near the community of Tobin in Plumas County. So I'm going to read the evacuation orders. I'm sorry. I know that this article was made about an hour and a half ago. Tried to go live as soon as I saw this. I was snugly up into bed and just shot wide awake. My entire mood from jovial, funny story time has gone into a state of anxious shock because for a week from now, I was going to go into these areas and try to film these ghost towns. I've only taken still images of some of these historic assets and treasures up there. We were talking about Belden being such a wonderful place, and these are all under threat right now. So orders, evacuation orders, High Lakes, recreational areas of Plumas County east of the Butte Plumas County line. Bear with me, I have a fever. Recreational area, High Lakes, east of the Butte/Plumas County line. Plumas/Butte County line is, okay, that was a typo they said. For a minute I blinked there, and no, it's actually written twice. Plumas/Butte County line east to Twain includes both sides of Highway 70 near Rock Creek, Story, Tobin, Belden, Caribou, Rich Bar, and Twain. There should have been a comma here. Caribou and Rich Bar are two different places. Rich Bar is just a plaque as far as the ghost town no longer being there, but people live in the area. Meadow Valley and Bucks Lake. These are all evacuations. Bucks Lake Road at Riverdance and everything west to the Butte Plumas County line. This includes Snake Lake, Meadow Valley, Tollgate, Bucks Lake, Highlands, and all surrounding areas. From Twain east to Paxton and the Greenville Y. Caribou Road north to Humbug Road and Humboldt Road intersection. This includes Belden Reservoir and Butte Valley Reservoir. Yes, that is Butte Valley. If you don't live there, just never mind. But there is Bucks Lake and Butte Lake, and they're different. They sound similar, but they're different. And yeah, Prattville. What we were talking about is Butte Lake. Prattville, Butte Reservoir Road, and everything west to the Butte Plumas County line. You're wondering why they named there. We'll get to that later. The community of Seneca in Plumas County also under evacuations. Oh, a lot of historical assets in there. I really don't want to see the gin mill burn. They saved it before, back in the day. God, 07. I was down there in 07, rocking out with the boys, and that's a long story. I'll show you guys my pictures. Philbrook in Butte County and Jonesville in Butte County. Road closures. Bucks Lake Road from Riverdance west to Mountain House in Butte County. That is closed. Also closed Highway 70 from Deadwood Road east of Paradise in Butte County to State Route 89 Junction in Plumas County. Where you should go for shelter. The Evacuation Center, Church of the Nazarene, located 2238 Monte Vista Avenue. You should call this phone number in Plumas County if you need shelter after evacuating. 530-283-6300. Hashtag Dixie Fire. There has been a change in the Dixie Fire information phone number. Please use 530-538-7826 for information. Hashtag Butte County, hashtag Lassen County, hashtag Plumas County, hashtag Cal Fire. You know, they had a real rosy quote morning update, which actually went live in the afternoon on Facebook, which kind of puzzled me. And people were a little upset in the comments. I posted something that was cute, such as thank you firefighters and such, and somebody was really upset and said it was going towards Bucks Lake. And I was like, no, it ain't. You know, the first thing I did was check fire activity and make sure that, you know, Bucks Lake was okay. And I thought that guy was off his rocker. Here's Bucks Lake. You can see there's nothing if we check out the Go satellite. Nothing exactly on there, but it is a different situation heading up the canyon, up 70. So the Go satellite, 6 UTC. Alexa, what time is 6 UTC?
6 p.m. at Coordinated Universal Time is the same as 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time at Pacific Daylight Time.
11 a.m. Okay, so excuse me, Alexa had to give me the answer there. That's the satellite data was available at 11 a.m. That doesn't sound right. Usually the Ghost satellite is quite robust, and we have hourly updates at the very least. So I'm going to verify that. If you're just coming in, go ahead and ask any questions in chat. I'm quite alarmed at the situation with the Dixie Fire. It has jumped 70. It is going uphill. It is going uphill towards Plumas County. There are new evacuations. I just read them. And if you want to know about these evacuations, KCRA has you covered here. This was updated less than 2 hours ago. So, well, that's what it said at first, but I do believe it's correct. We're going to double check that. Let's go and look at Facebook page for Cal Fire / Butte County. See if there's been any immediate updates. Um, we had a 7 p.m. update. So let's check this out. One of those is in Spanish. We're trying to see if we can get an English one. But yeah, I'm in a state of shock. It's getting out of hand. So 4 hours ago, let's see this thing. Dixie Fire incident update. Current situation. Today, the Dixie Fire was very active and produced a large smoke column. Firefighters constructed control lines to reinforce the perimeter. Firefighters continue to aggressively fight the fire from both the air and ground. Ground crews continue to strengthen contingency lines from Chips Creek to High Lakes. Air resources including tankers, very large air tankers, and Type 2 medium copters and Type 1 heavy-copters flew over the fire and supported suppression efforts on the ground. Tonight, we are expecting possible isolated thunderstorms throughout the area. Oh, the news just keeps getting better. This is a bit of a tense situation, and we'll take a closer look at this with all available resources in a moment. Crews continue to work on widening and strengthening the direct and indirect control lines that are in place. So as of 4 hours ago, 7 p.m. Pacific, that was our incident update, but I think things have escalated in the last couple of hours. So I want to verify evacuations that are issued. So we should definitely look at the Sheriff's Office Facebook page for the Dixie Fire. So give me 1 second here. Butte County, Plumas County, we got to be strong again. Here we go. So I have it here. Let's take a look. We're going to look at Cal Fire / Butte County, public release by the Sheriff's Office of Plumas County. Due to the Dixie Fire, the evacuation warning has been issued. Welcome in the chat, Sarah. Hi, how are you? Sarah Luna says, Canyon Dam, Prattville, and Lake Eleanor West. Oh, yeah, I don't want to hear that. Yeah, I believe you, though, because looking at the map, you can see that that's where it's going. Thank you very much, Sarah. And anybody else that's unfamiliar with the stream, it's open question and answer time. Resident firefighters come in and out of the chat. If they're available, we can ask them direct questions about fire, but for the most part, I can answer most of them. If you have a question about fire behavior, I can help monitor it from the air and point you in the right direction. As far as anybody looking for information right now, this breaks my heart because this is the area I grew up in. So I was planning to make a trip down here, and I was going to make a happy announcement like, "Hey, who wants to fund me? Gas is $5 a gallon in these mountains." But I will take my cell phone and/or a better camera, and I will go there and show you guys the cultural resources and the wonderful things the firefighters are saving. And I was just talking about Seneca yesterday with my Australia friend, and I was showing her my pictures of that in other places, and that is where the fire is headed towards. So you have a couple links. Awesome. I'm going to give you moderator permissions. Use them only for good. And I'll be happy to read that. For now, I'm going to read the Sheriff's Office, Plumas County Sheriff's Office public release. This was issued 1 hour ago. From the intersection of Highway 36 and Highway 89, south through the community of Canyon Dam, at the intersection of Highway 89 and 147. This includes both sides of Highway 89 between those 2 points. And this includes the communities of Canyon Dam, Prattville, Lake Eleanor West Shore, which is Zone 5 on the map. And we shall look in the map in a second. We do have a Plumas County evacuation map, I do believe. The map does not capture all of Canyon Dam, however, it is included in this warning. So yeah, just basically uphill from Highway 70. Hold on to your butts. from the intersection of Humbug/Humboldt Road north to the intersection with Fox Farm Road, from the intersection of Humboldt Road to Fox Farm Road west along Fox Farm Road to the intersection with Highway 36. I'm just going to summarize that as everything around Fox Farm Road. And Fox Farm Road continuing west to the Tehama and Butte County lines. South along the Butte County line to Humbug Road, east along Humbug Road to the intersection of Humboldt Road, which is Zone 6 on the map. Is there a map? They didn't link the map. Yeah, if Lake Almanor West is included here, I would not go to sleep tonight, guys, if you're in this vicinity. Without listening to the radio, scanner radio, I am trying to monitor it right now. I do not hear firefighter channel chatter out of Butte County right now. I'm going to try to switch to see if Plumas County has firefighter chatter. Northern California major incident was where we usually listen to firefighter chatter. It is not activated right now. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to hear them chattering, but we'll try to make that happen. Yes, I know, Sarah. I just about flipped my lid. PG&E is claiming responsibility for this one too. Why does this company exist? Just okay. I'm restraining myself. Let's just the time for the pitchforks is later. That's all I'm gonna say right now. But this fire has started under power lines almost exactly in the same spot that the 2018 Camp Fire, also known as the Paradise Disaster Fire, started. And we're looking at GOES satellite data, and that's what I was going to do. We're going to monitor this real quick with seeing, oh God, look how it jumped ahead of itself. So we've got, Cresta down here, and don't worry, people by Oroville and such. The fire is going uphill and is going towards Greenville. So in a way, it's going up the Oro Quincy Highway there, or Highway 7, excuse me. It's going up Highway 70. Once again, I have a fever, and oh my God, I hope they're saving Belden. Look at Belden right there, just in the middle of the, surrounded by flames. So Belden Belden currently, excuse me, is in the same situation as Markleeville was the night before last, which I was so glad to see Markleeville make it. And so, thank you so much, Sarah. You got us covered here. I do believe, they can ring it and save it. I mean, they've got an uninterruptible water supply in the Feather River right underneath Belden there. If you have ever seen Belden, it's like an old stagecoach stop. A miniaturized ghost town with gosh, there was a really cool saloon and inn there that was just marvelous, just like something Mark Twain would have visited. In fact, he probably actually did. I know Mark Twain went up towards Almanor. Hang on a second. Okay. Sorry. I'm sorry, I don't know if that's fire related. The sheriff's office from Butte County Fire Tactic, Cal Fire, and Paradise Police is what I was listening to earlier, and what we're hearing now is Butte County Cal Fire / Chico Fire, and I don't believe we're in the right spot. So I'm going to turn that off and switch on over to let's just see if there's something Plumas related. Bear with me. So, but the way this fire is rapidly moving and evolving and uncontained, and has jumped Highway 70 to the north side of 70, and is on either side now, just kind of going up wherever it wants right now. I would say be on high alert and all the way up to Chester. I mean, I don't see Chester under direct threat right now, but Almanor West, that's not too far away. So this danger triangle of, Canyon, Belden. If we were to draw a triangle, Belden, Chester, down to Quincy. If you made a triangle there, I would. Well, actually, it's bigger than that because Canyon Dam is right over here. Basically, our evacuation zones are just gigantic. It's like it's kind of like that at the moment, you know. So I'm dismayed. I'm sorry. If I sound disturbed and in a state of shock, it's because I am. This was going so well, and um, everything does until it doesn't. Okay, there's a link to evacuation map. Thank you so much. We will look at that right now. Let's check out the official evacuation map to see if I drew this accurately. Pretty much, yeah. So, how do they color code this one? Well, we know what it is. Red is going to be what you don't want to be in, but I wouldn't go to sleep tonight in the other highlighted areas up by Lake Almanor. I'd be a little antsy if I was in Greenville and whatnot. They've got to be getting the smoke by now. Let's go ahead and look. Thank you so much, Sarah. Yellow is warning. Thank you so much for the key. Yeah, and red's mandatory. I get it. I think there's more of a two-step system for California than the ready set go three-step system for Oregon. But what I have to advise people on is that always elevate yourself one evacuation level higher than you are officially at if there are a couple of circumstances that increase your vulnerability. So, for example, if you, let's see, Plumas County Fire Dispatch. I'm going to casually monitor that as I talk. Bear with me. Um, if you have 3 evacuation routes out, like 3 main roads in 3 different directions away from the fire, then that's pretty good. If you're down there by the paved roads and you can just quickly get to where you want to go, um, that's pretty good. But if you are not, if you don't have 3 different evacuation routes near you, if you have to take a long windy trip down dirt roads to get to highways and to get to evacuation areas, you're a bit more vulnerable. If you only have one way out, if you're on a dead end road, if you are not near ponds and golf courses and lakes and bridges, culverts, and really good solid shelters such as dirt fields, baseball diamonds, track and fields, schools, big store parking lots. If you're not near any of that, if you're deep in the pines and there's nowhere to really shelter and car is the only way out, and leave before you're told and before it gets bad. So always consider your own specific situation. If you're alone and you can't stay up all night, monitoring the firefighter chatter or whatnot. I mean, this is how we had fatalities in Berry Creek and Brush Creek, is people went to bed, and when it got out of control in the night, it wasn't possible to go door to door, and reverse 911 simply did not work. So this is the way you stay safe. Sometimes it is advisable to leave before you're told. Just consider your own individual situation. Um, Leaving too early is cute, and leaving too late is pretty bad. So, Sarah says Dixie and Tamarack both produced their own weather today. Unreal. Yeah, we could check that out. I was monitoring this stuff with my fever and convinced that I wouldn't wear myself out. Promised myself I'd just go to bed. But when I saw this, all sleepiness has left me now. So we are covering the Dixie Fire. If anybody's just tuning in, you may ask any questions about it. This is our evacuation map, and Sarah is awesome. She has linked in the chat the evacuation map. Also linked in my description are a bunch of links for Butte County, and I do believe it's down there in the description. If there's anything specific that you need any information, tell me, and I'll fetch it like a gopher. If not, then what we should do is analyze this and see what the heck happened, where it all went wrong. We do have confirmation now that basically Pacific Gas and Electric is taking responsibility. I was reading a different article, and what they said was a member of Pacific Gas and Electric, according to KCRA, was responding to a circuit outage on the 13th and spotted blown fuses in a conductor atop a pole. A tree leaning into the conductor and fire at the base of the tree. Oh, because it was completing a circuit. So vegetation is not supposed to be underneath power lines, and that was one of the main reasons for the Paradise Fire is when molten metal from their arcing power lines and um, melted itself, dripped molten metal onto vegetation below. It had been grown up for many years, and the firefighters watched helplessly because they couldn't even access it. The fire access road was overgrown. So that was 2018 when they killed people at the Paradise Fire. The year before with 2017 Cascades Fire and Santa Rosa, they had killed people, including my friend. And they were supposed to cut it down. They were supposed to have gotten a hold of vegetation underneath power lines. Apparently, that hasn't been addressed. Hello, Elijah. Welcome. Welcome, everybody. I'm trying to contain my state of shock and awe of the fire that has gone out of control now, the Dixie Fire, and it is now threatening many, many homes, structures, and cultural assets and history up. Basically, it's making a beeline for Plumas County. But the border corner area with Tehama County is affected too, and we're watching helplessly as we can see Belden surrounded by heat signatures detectable from space. We can only hope that Belden's going to make it. It is a beloved spot for me. Seneca is another one of those, and if we go up this way, Caribou, I don't remember, I don't know how much of the original gold mining ghost town is remaining there, if any, but I do know the Caribou Station there is critical infrastructure. That's a turn of the century powerhouse. That's pretty dang amazing there. And the fire's headed towards their own. I believe that's PG&E that runs the place. So Seneca is up the canyon. That's another ghost town, and beloved. It's in my heart here, and I was just showing my Australian friend pictures of it the other day. I plan to, San Bruno, yeah, Sarah, yeah, San Bruno. There's so many places that PGE has destroyed, and so many people they have killed. You can't even forget Aaron Brockovich. See that movie. They were killing people before wildfires, letting people drink contaminated well water with some sort of a chemical that would help them transform a chemical or fluid, I believe it was. And they knew about it and denied it, and it wasn't until dozens and dozens of people got killed and sick that they got sued. Just see the Aaron Brockovich movie. Where is she? We need her back. Where are you now? PG&E is still PG&E is still killing people. It's still burning up the landscape. All you got to do is click this button, fire history. A lot of this is PG&E. Here's the Cascade Fire that they started where my friend died, and 1 year later, here's the giant Paradise Fire, just this huge giant thing here where they almost killed my brother. And then the Zog Fire, it turns out the Zog Fire was them too, as it started simultaneously when the Santa Ana winds came up again, and Napa at the same time down there, the Glass Fire. Just need I go on? Like a big chunk of the red in the state was caused by Pacific Gas and Electric. Um, Here we go again. So we got to stay Butte strong, and we got to keep a calm outlook, and let's just analyze this. The time for pitchforks will be later, and I think there will be blood, figuratively. I want to see handcuffs on people so bad. So let's go back to analyzing the situation. Let's turn off fire history and focus on what's currently happening. If we have MODIS/VEERS satellite on right now, this will give us the key. All the red dots that you are seeing are places burning about half an acre to an acre in size generally. It's about how big they have to be to be detectable from space. But there's a lot of inaccuracy with these satellites. So wherever there is a speck, that doesn't mean the entire landscape is on fire in each individual snowflake icon. That just means that somewhere within the little round circle around the snowflake is the general area where the heat detection is located. And we have a wonderful color code here. Less than 12 hours ago are the new heat detections, and less than 24 hours old are the orange. And, a day behind that is the yellow. So the yellow is like where the fire was. It's pretty much still smoldering, depending on wind picking it up. Things could be still torching and still pretty active, but for the most part, the red and the orange is where the fire is moving and blowing and evolving and marching. So one look at the wind right now, and wow, we have a mess. We can tell which way the wind was blowing. It was blowing to the northeast, just because we can see the red. The red are where the spot fires are, embers being carried by the wind. And we have now, when we click the wind, we've got completely erratic winds. I mean, they go up here and they go toward the northwest, and then they kind of swirl at this point. And I'm not a weather person, but that very well could be the action of the fire being so hot, pushing so much smoke and so much heat up into the air that it is now creating pyrocumulus clouds and creating its own weather, including lightning. We can look at windy to see if there's any current lightning. I don't know. But welcome if you're just here. Put any questions you have in chat. We are now pretty concerned about the situation with the Dixie Fire. I can cover other fires as well as needed. But right now, this one is the one I am speechless about. We've got a huge swath of evacuations that are all the way from basically Cresta and Polga area almost to Chester. I mean, Lake Elsinore West is now on alert for get ready. Canyon Dam is on alert. It goes all the way to over here at the State Highway 36. Sorry, I have to lean in there. I'm away from this monitor. But look, it's right up against the little airport at Chester. So that's quite a huge swath that is now in danger. The winds are driving it north, and that's why people should be pretty concerned. I believe they'll use the highway as a line here. The volcanic scenic legacy highway here goes to Mount Lassen. What else they're going to use for a break? I mean, they'll try whatever else they have in general, but this fire is racing. And fire is a slave to the wind. Excuse me, I pressed the wrong button. It really could be up in here in a matter of hours. It really depends. We'll have to look at windy. Sarah says you just got an update on Tamarack. Do tell us. Yeah, Carney. Yeah. Yep. Space lasers. Dag nabbit. East side, if the fire just flared up on the Tamarack, well, let's go look at that one too. But we have a mess. We have a swirling, hot mess of wind all around Northern California right now, up into the mountains and even up by Redding. It's confused wind. Probably a bunch coming up from Oregon, headed south, and some wind coming up the valley, headed north towards Redding and Anderson. And that's converging and that's swirling. We see that a lot. We saw it with the Zog fire. And we got some wind rushing up towards Nevada, but it's completely unpredictable. Tamarack now has 3 heads. That's icing on the cake for tonight, isn't it? We've got very strong winds, as indicated by CalTopo. The Tamarack fire looks like it's headed towards Minden. I don't know the new evacuation information about the Tamarack. We'll get to that in a second. What I would like to do, though, is go ahead and take a quick break to relieve myself and get a drink. And I shall be right back. And I'll be with you. Let me see if I can get a placeholder here. We'll be right back. That's all I need for an image. And let's go with this one. This is interesting. Uh, the sorry, we'll be right back image. Yeah. Excuse me, I don't mean to make anybody sick. Sorry, we'll be right back. I'll be right with you shortly. Okay, I apologize, friends, for that. I usually try to put some sort of thing like a talking head, when I leave for the bathroom. But when you gotta go, you gotta go. So the KCRA is live right now, but I can't really show them. That's copyrighted material. Um, not 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 confidently anyway. You have to bear with me. I am really sick and I have a fever. I was just crawling into bed when I realized that this development was pretty dang important. We had to cover this. So if you're just with me, open open question and answer time right now. Looks like the Tamarack fire has developed and has three heads now, producing new pyrocumulus clouds. That was an interesting thing I noticed today. When I was monitoring it, trying to decide if I had to come online. Here I am sick and trying to take care of myself, but I did get on windy, and I did see that there was lightning dancing all over the mountains, but it wasn't near the Tamarack fire. It was south. And I looked on the satellite to see if I could see new heat signatures, and I did not see any. So the incredible amount of lightning I saw, God, look at that, was down way south of the Tamarack. It was down by even further south of Mammoth Lakes, kind of in this area by Oakhurst and whatnot. So I'm going to get windy up here. If you're just tuning in, let me know if you need evacuation info or info about a specific fire. We are currently following the developing situation of the Dixie Fire, which has gone wild, and it is headed towards Canyon Dam and Chester, if you can believe that. It was nowhere near it, say, yesterday, but everything can change. So let's look at windy. There's caribou. If you want to check out lightning, there's other layers here that you can click, like more layers. Weather radar is what you want to click, and then you can see little lightning strikes. Sometimes they just go pew 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 pew. You just have to play what speed, and then you can go ahead and see them. So like we had, this is a radar and such. I thought that was going to be an example of lightning, but I don't see it. You'll actually see lightning bolts. So if you want to monitor whether or not a fire is making its own lightning, I guess we have a way to do that now. I think that's visible from space. So let's turn off weather radar. Oops. And you guys are probably wondering why it's so dark. There we go. Let's go back to monitoring wind speed here. If it'll behave. Sorry, I got a lot of ad blocker stuff on here. Aha. Okay, now the buttons. Nope, ain't no response. We're gonna refresh it. Ha. Maybe it wants cookies. What is it that you want? What is it that you want? I'll give you all the cookies you want. I just need you to work right now. This is one of the reasons I don't like windy. Let's go back to CalTopo. We can look at NOAA for the forecast. So I'm going to get on my actual cell phone right now. Oh, you got Twitter. There's insane footage? Okay. We'll watch the insane footage while I look up the forecast for the Dixie Fire. Yeah. That is pyrocumulus. It basically looks volcanic, doesn't it? If you converted that to black and white and said that was the turn of the century eruption of Mount Lassen, that's what it would look like. Well, World War One era is turn of the century enough for me. So this is a really sad development. There's a lot to be lost up here as far as ghost towns, historic towns. Oh yeah, or a nuke. That's what Sarah says. You're dang right about that. Um, so there's a lot to be lost up there. There's lots of cattle. There's ranches. There's communities. There's towns. There's little cities. Places like Greenville. Um, and ghost towns that the firefighters have been saving for more than a century, again and again and again, like Seneca. That's what I'm really on pins and needles for. I can show a couple of pictures of Seneca in just a little bit here. Right now I'm going to try to read the NOAA weather, the latest forecast for the Dixie Fire area. So I'm just going to punch in Greenville. That'll be the same. Excuse me, Greenville, California. And that's where one of the bigger weather stations are, if I recall. And it'll be Canyon Dam, I guess we could punch in, but it's the same difference here. I'm going to put a star on there. Pandemonium Software is the maker of NOAA Weather, which is on Android, which I'm going to read you about now. Okay, Greenville, California, which is very near the evacuation zone for the current Dixie Fire. Current conditions are 74 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 59. North-northwest wind 3 to 5 miles an hour. Tomorrow, Tuesday, high of 91, sunny with a high, near 91, light and variable wind becoming south-southwest 10 to 15 miles an hour in the morning. But winds could gust as high as 23 miles an hour. And that's at the elevation of Greenville, which is in the valley. Up at the higher altitudes, up at the peaks, up in the ridges, you can bet that it's going to be higher than 23 miles per hour. Then Tuesday night, there will be a low of 54 degrees clear. Southwest wind 8 to 13 miles per hour, becoming light and variable in the evening, which is Tuesday night. Winds could gust as high as 20 miles per hour. And so that's all. That's as far as I'm going to read into the forecast, because when you have major fires like this generating their own weather, you don't really have accuracy beyond 2 days. It's sunny and 90ish was forecast for the next couple of days. So there are uh, new evacuation orders. And so basically, if you just look at this map, if you're anywhere near Greenville, you know, and Belden was already evacuated, but Butts Lake, um, Eleanor West, even all the way up to the doorstep of Chester. That's evacuation. All the way up to the Tehama County line in that little corner area. So if you look at this map, the links are in the description and in the chat. Look at the new Get Ready lines. It's pretty unreal. Greenville itself is not within this right now, but I would think that it's probably likely to be included somewhat soon, because while the winds are generally pushing north right now, they're quite swirly right now. It's like somebody just took a spoon into a coffee cup and swirled it one direction and kind of stopped it and went the other way. So that's the best way to describe the winds right now. So I'm going to refresh Plumas County Sheriff's Office, see if there's anything else. We don't see anything new there. We read CAL FIRE and what they had to say. I'm going to refresh that. And 1 hour ago, hang on a second, we got radio chatter. I don't know if this is fire related, but let's check it out. Okay, sorry, that was unrelated to fire, I believe. It's real loud too. Hang on. I continue to, passively monitor that on the cell phone. I won't subject you guys to that with Broadcastify online. With this, I can just lean over and press mute. If they say anything, I will let you know. But at the moment, I can't really find firefighter chatter right now because Northern California major incident is offline. If somebody else in the chat knows where we could listen to the firefighters talking, that would be good. It was pretty dead on Butte County Sheriff's / fire tactics earlier. They were talking about car chases and a tattooed suspect, with warrants for his arrest. That's pretty much always what's going on in Butte County on the fire police channel or sheriff's channel. So this kind of sucks. Let's look at aircraft that might be involved right now. I have Flight Radar 24 on, and I don't see aircraft in the area. Oh, here we go. I'm so sorry. I'm so sleepy. I haven't slept and I'm pretty ill. It's a Vertol. We got a Boeing Vertol, which says twin choppers. Get to the chopper, kind of huge helicopter. So that one is hovering around Orville's airport. It may go up to do something with the Dixie Fire. It may not. Usually this time of night, we would see scout / lidar planes scouting the area, looking for hotspots with infrared, and that's how they would track it. But God, drones grounded aircraft today. You guys, do not fly your drones anywhere near a wildfire. You're gonna get slammed with not only the wrath of the community, but $20,000 to $40,000 in fines, which they would love to slap on somebody right now to make an example out of them. But drones do take down aircraft. If it hit the wing of an aircraft, they would go down. So they tell everybody to get out of the area. It will rob them of at least 30 minutes of daylight. They only have daylight hours to work, so you can't fly your drones. Now, if you want to help with a drone, you can walk up to authorities and say, here, commandeer it for a bit and hand it to them. But don't fly it yourself. That's not being helpful. It's real bad. So other than the Vertol hanging out by Orville, I don't see any aircraft in the sky around the Dixie Fire. We can check out the Tamarack, which I was thinking was in a good situation for Markleyville. We have, fire coverage is a series of ups and downs where you celebrate one moment and then there's nail biting instances the next. So while we are happy for Markleyville, there's the spreading Tamarack fire as well. So let's look at InstaWeb. We see the Dixie Fire has become a squid. Yeah, it's basically a squid. That's how I define that shape. So people in Butte County can breathe a little bit of relief. Paradise and Magalia at the moment are unthreatened. It's not going that way for the moment. It is heading up towards Greenville. It's heading up towards Chester, Lake Almanor West, Butts Lake, and the general area to the west of Chester, um, which is pretty horrific. The next place that I really worry for would be the power station at Caribou, which is a historic structure, and of course Seneca. Seneca is under evacuation, and so is Canyon Dam, and basically everything in this just general region. Um, Greenville not officially yet, but I expect that to change. So Quincy not yet, but it could possibly change. So these winds are pretty much all over the place right now. So let's look at InstaWeb. I'm going to look for that InstaWeb. See if that has any updates, anything relevant. I was going to show a Dixie Fire update from earlier today. It was pretty dang rosy. And it was starting to fill up, though, with people in the comments section who were pretty upset. I can see why now. I do believe, though, that that wasn't on purpose. I believe that they shot it early in the morning, and it wasn't until the afternoon that they posted it. But yeah, the picture changed. The picture changed since then. So we have 4 hour ago updates. There's a 15% containment that has not changed on the Dixie Fire, but that was true from this morning. And that basically is the squid's head. If you think of the Dixie Fire as a squid with active tentacles flailing around, lighting fires in the mountains up by the Caribou Power Station, Seneca, in that area. If you think of the flailing tentacles uphill on Highway 70, if you think of the head pointing towards Orville, um, the head is where it's pretty much in containment. So at the moment, knock on wood, nobody in Butte County can ever sleep well anymore. But knock on wood, that's not where the fire is heading right now. It's heading north towards the Chester area. But my goodness, that does look like a squid, don't it? I apologize for my fever here. So going back to InstaWeb, there's 2,500 personnel on the fire approximately. It is pretty much been owned as started by Pacific Gas and Electric now. It's pretty awful. Holding back a lot of what I could comment about that. Size is 40,000 acres plus. It jumped the highway. They're evacuating places like Seneca, and Belden is surrounded by flames. And we can only pray that Belden makes it tonight. It has, through more than a century of firefighters keeping it safe. So there's hope for Belden. I remember Belden weathering a whole lot of stuff from growing up. One of the worst things I saw was a landslide, and there were some rocks and giant boulders that came off the hills, and they obliterated some cabins. They were thankfully uninhabited, but as we crawled by when there's a huge traffic jam as a kid, I'll never forget seeing a first responder open the front door of a canyon and rocks fell out, just like the walnuts on covering Dick Van Dyke on that famous Dick Van Dyke episode, where the walnuts are in the closet and he opens it and it drowns him in a mountain of walnuts, and that's basically what the effect was. And I was like, oh man, I hope nobody's in there, but it was like a miracle. So And Belden's like this lucky little bright spot that they keep saving. So fingers crossed for Belden. I'd love to actually Google it. Show you guys a saloon. Uh, and I like to look at these places again with a fresh eye to see, can that be saved? Is it looking good? This is the little mini bridge that goes across, and if you ever are up Highway 70, you should cross it and go to this awesome inn. It's straight out of the gold rush. Um, it's closed due to fire, and that's unfortunate because it should be reopening right now and getting the tourists back. So, oh my gosh, we are being flooded with emails for people asking for their money back from the deposits they placed with us early in the year for a cabin or hotel stay. Please understand, nobody's in the office to process your refund. Yeah, they evacuated due to a fire. We ask for your patience as Belden is heavily affected. We are blessed to have firefighters stationed on site. Yes, so they're making a stand there. That makes me feel a whole lot better. Firefighters defend where they sleep. So, guys, if you do have reservations, hang on to them. Just keep this place alive. This is history right here. Just chill and be a good neighbor here. We'll get through this together. So, is an old image of what it used to look like in the past. A little postcard. Yep. How cute is that? It's unrecognizable, actually. So, I feel slightly better about Belden, knowing that the firefighters are stationed there. There is an uninterruptible supply of water. It's defensible on one side by the canyon. Embers are a factor, but it looks like they got it under control, hopefully. So I'm going to leave the Dixie Fire for a moment. There's nothing else to say other than everybody's getting away from it, and there's mandatory evacuations in a huge swath. Anybody has any questions, please do ask, and I shall tell you evacuation information. We have links to that in the chat. I do suggest that you sign up for alerts and continuously watch the sheriff's office web pages or Facebook pages and Twitter pages and social media pages for the sheriff's office of Plumas County, Butte County, and gosh, you know what? They were talking about Tehama County being affected at the line. So this thing has really become a monster, and I apologize. I'm deliriously tired and have a fever. I don't see any aircraft still. Let's go ahead and monitor the Tamarack, which we'll see if there's a new update. Sometimes at night, yes, we do get an update. 1.5 hours ago, the Tamarack is 40,000 acres, which is basically almost equaling the Dixie Fire, which has been burning in a big way for much longer. The Tamarack just blew up the other night as we were watching live, and thank goodness they saved most of the town and structures of Markleyville, although there were some homes lost, and we're very sad for them. It looks like the reports are that Grover Hot Springs was pretty much saved. I was watching that on other channels. Sarah's got to head out. Please feel better and get some rest. I am. Just got to cover these two, and then I think I'm just going to faint or something. Quite upsetting. I do have nice things to share with you tomorrow. Some cool videos and some of my own personal photographs from the area. But yeah, hey Bugs. Yeah, welcome. Heading to bed and just noticed you're on. Don't burn yourself out. Yep. Well, the Dixie Fire just blew up and is heading towards all the places that I knew as a child, including our old cabin. So even though we don't own it anymore, I don't want to see it burn. It's this is nightmarish. And Pacific Gas and Electric just all but took responsibility for starting this one too, with a tree leaning up against its utility lines up at a circuit, almost the exact same place where the campfire started. This is one traumatized, one trauma too many for Butte and Plumas County and everywhere around here. Well, all around California. Um, Virtually every county can claim to have been affected by PG&E and some fire they started. Yeah, I can't believe it. Just, it's one of those, really? Really? So I'm waiting for a satellite update here. This is what I keep clicking on. Um, every once in a while, the Modus and the Veers will update like so. We can go to Veers only and have a color-coded progression of just how big this got out of control. The color code, and where is it? Where is the color code for Veers? Goodness gracious. You see this erratic winds, how it comes up here and it runs headlong into itself right here. It swirls around this way and comes back around. It's pretty much cyclonic in action, and I've seen that before in places like the Zog fire. It's basically sucking oxygen like it's a structure fire. That's the best way I can put this to the layman. But if you've ever heard of a backdraft, a fire that can't get enough oxygen sucks, uh, like in a vacuum kind of a way, air from underneath doors and around the seals and windows and pulls it in trying to breathe. And then if you open the door, then it will explode because the fire was there, but it just needed oxygen for its full explosive potential. And it's kind of doing a similar thing where it is pulling air. It's that big that it's almost acting like a structure fire. You see doors and such like in a structure fire can just slam shut like bang because the fire sucked on air. Um, Bugs Bunny says is all that private property or private or state? It's a mix. A lot of it's Plumas National Forest. A lot of it is ghost towns from the gold mining era, like the gold rush. And when I say ghost towns, some of them are completely abandoned and like tumbling tumbleweed, saloon doors swinging in the wind. And I won't reveal their locations because I don't want looters to just converge on there. But a couple like Seneca were like that for a bit, but people have kept cabins in the area. Um, oh, federal, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of federal up here and national forest. Plumas National Forest is huge, and I know it pretty well. I used to drive around here quite a bit, basically doing historic resource inventory for my own personal, research on ghost towns. And when I say ghost towns, it doesn't mean like nobody lives there. Um, it just means that there's no like town with a store. Like Chester is a living town with a store, but Seneca, some people still live in the old cabins, and there's something called the gin mill there, which I can show pictures of tomorrow, which is, a turn of the century slash 1800s bar that's almost been in continuous operation on and off as gold miners come and go. But, people still live there. It's still owned, and the firefighters, there's a big historic plaque, and firefighters have saved many, many times by making a stand here, making a defensive ring. The remains of the mills, the gold mining mills, and the mines themselves, and what used to be the downtown for a robust and thriving town in the 1800s before many factors turned it into ghost towns, such as banning hydro mining. I think hydro mining happened up here because when I drove down Seneca Road, I saw a whole lot of bare cliffs and such. So that was very, very profitable. They were washing out like at Paradise and Magalia, record-breaking nuggets, like 54-pound nugget at Magalia called the Dogtown Nugget. So, oh boy, they loved hydro mining, but it got banned around 1889 because they silted up the rivers and started flooding up the valley. So as soon as they banned it, a whole bunch of towns went ghost, like Cherokee and that thrived on it, Timbuktu, um, theoretically Caribou here, Seneca, and others. So yeah, Seneca was a delight to visit. It's like this little hidden gem, And in 2007, I went there. They had saved it. They had just gotten finished saving it from a different fire. There's still smoke in the air, and I met people there, and they were wonderful. And I know they live there and have cabins, and so I'm praying for them right now. And I know a lot of people in Eleanor West, Prattville area, Canyon Dam, hoping they come out and their cabins survive. A lot of my family members have got cabins up there. So, dang, this is a sad situation. So let's look at the Tamarack fire. We got a. We'll go in. We'll continue to monitor the Dixie before I pass out. So with the Tamarack, um, when was this updated? This is what we were on pins and needles about a couple days ago as well. We know that the wind is blowing to the north. It's kind of heading towards Gardnerville and Minden, which is kind of sketchy for the Carson Valley folks. But let's look at what the predicted forecast is. So I'm on InstaWeb. When was this updated? Hour and a half ago, approximately. Okay. Current activity of the Tamarack fire. Efforts to use aircraft today get a bit more accurate acreage and location for the fire perimeter. Okay. That is such a weird sentence. I'm going to start over. Efforts to use aircraft today to obtain a more accurate acreage and location for this fire perimeter were unsuccessful due to heavy smoke and afternoon thunderstorms that brought a small amount of rain to the area, but also lightning. That's no consolation, the tiny amount of rain that it gives. Wind from the thunderstorms increased the fire activity, moving the fire to the northeast toward the California-Nevada state line in the US 395 corridor. Crews are working to prevent the fire from impacting US 395 and surrounding areas. Firefighters continue to mop up around Markleyville and Grover Hot Springs, which I hear was saved. Both of those two things. We unfortunately lost some homes around Markleyville, and my heart goes out to them. Crews on the ground were assisted by helicopters providing water drops. Single-engine air tankers also dropped retardant to protect communications towers on Hawkins Peak. On the northeast portion of the fire, point protection around structures remains a priority. Crews are working a night shift again tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. Evacuations for the Tamarack fire. Today, the Alpine County Sheriff's Office ordered mandatory evacuations for the Blue Lakes Road area around 11 a.m. In the Mesa Vista area around 3. Markleyville, Grover Hot Springs and Campground area, Shade Creek, Markley Village, Alpine Village, Woodford's East Fork Resort, and the community of Hungalil T. Oh, I butchered that. Hungalil T are still under evacuation orders. That bothers me so much. I'm going to look up how to say that. Closures. Highway 89 closed at the intersection of 4 and 89. Highway 4 is open west of the 89 and 4 junction, however. Please slow down and drive with caution in the area as fire crews are hard at work. Refer to roads ca.gov for closure specifics. So how am I supposed to say roads.ca.gov? They didn't think about how weird that would sound when they made that link. So basically, California dot, just find that for road closure specifics. Pacific Crest Trail is closed between Carson Pass and the Everett's Pass. I wonder how they would tell people. You know, a lot of people hike that trail without radios. They must be in a state of confusion. Please find locations away from the fire area for your recreational opportunities. Yeah, that's advisable. Weather and smoke. Temperatures are expected to warm up over the coming days. Carson Valley and the surrounding areas can expect continued impacts from smoke and ashfall. Individuals with compromised respiratory systems are encouraged to limit outdoor exposure. Well, you know what? I would bitterly add that individuals with compromised respiratory systems should probably get out of California as a permanent move. The way things are going, it's year after year here, and I'm saying that bitterly, but not as a joke. I mean that in all honesty. Um, it's like giving your kid 2 to 3 packs a day. So the total personnel that are on the Tamarack right now are 796. It's around 40K acres in size, and it's amazing how it just blew up in size and it equals the Dixie Fire, even though the Dixie Fire is much bigger, much sooner, and much earlier. Significant events, fire behavior remains extreme in the form of crowning, spotting, and surface runs along the active perimeter. Crowning is one of the nightmare words of firefighting. Firefighters can only put water and shovel dirt and smother fires that are on the floor of the forest. Crowning means that fire went up into some dead trees, got all the way to the top, and the embers were blown by the wind to light the tops of other trees on fire. And so that is a fire out of reach for boots on the ground. At higher you are up, even just in a treetop, the fiercer the wind is, and so a crown fire will just spread uncontrollably checked, especially at night. The only hope that you can do anything with that is with aerial attack, which cannot occur at night. The fact that they even failed to find out the exact perimeter of this fire lets you know how gigantic the smoke column is. It's just like a huge volcanic eruption, and apparently lasers couldn't even penetrate it because that's what LiDAR is, and they mentioned that specifically. So they can't plan an attack or a defense really if they don't know exactly where the fire is, and that is what they're struggling with right now. You know, they have a big black hole and question mark on their map. So spotting is the result of crowning naturally. It's also a nightmare word where the embers are blowing ahead of the fire, lighting fires in front of it. So there's really no safe place to be ahead of a spotting fire. That means that from ridgetop to ridgetop, the fire will spread and it'll skip over valleys, it'll skip over creeks, it'll skip over ravines and get ahead of itself. And if the wind changes, the fire will just blow back to where it previously spared. So it's just rapid rate of spread with unpredictable nature, which whatever the wind decides to do at the time. And surface runs included means there's still activity on the surface, and so running is very fast moving. Fire along the surface, typically you see that up hills, but it can be just in the brush if it's wind driven. I don't believe the fire is wind driven at the surface right now, but we don't have any eyes in there to verify that. I mean, a couple of days ago we saw it being wind driven at the crown. It's like a crown wind driven fire with very slow, almost creeping action along the ground. But everything can change. We now have high wind gusts. We now have a bigger fire to deal with, which can generate its own weather and its own lightning, which is just unreal. So we're blind on the inside. We're not really sure exactly what's going on in there. Other than it's bad. So current weather. Tonight, isolated showers and thunderstorms in the evening and overnight. Minimum temperature near 50 degrees for the Tamarack fire. Max humidity around 65%. That's better than single digit stuff, that's for sure. Chance of wetting rains is 15%. That's good. It's a little silver lining. Hello, Josh. There's been very limited information coming from the fire areas over the last couple of days. Yeah, you know, the guy who was streaming live in the town went back and he had on Facebook today some sad images of a few homes that were lost. But you know, you're very right about that. It's kind of like a forgotten fire. They'll mention it on CNN for like 8 seconds or something, saying, "Oh, and a town called Markleyville was saved," and I think that was it. So we're very concerned about the Dixie Fire and the Tamarack, both. The winds in general are pushing it north by northeast, but they're fluctuating, so it can do whatever it wants, really. Both of them have no containment towards the way that they are traveling, which is to the north to northeast. Now let's look at the outlook for the Tamarack. Excuse me. One moment, please. Oh, I got a drink. Excuse my inarticulation tonight. I am fighting a fever with a sinus infection. I wasn't going to stream until I saw this and became quite alarmed. We are very worried for towns like Belden and Seneca up in Plumas County, Canyon Dam, and Lake Almanor West in Greenville. So the outlook for the Tamarack fire is continue structure protection efforts at all areas currently being impacted by the fire, and begin securing established line around Markleyville by mopping it up and improving that line. There's a lot of details about how they're going to do that, where they're going to put lines. Staff will, as resources become available, begin a line construction at Highway 89 progressing to the southwest. Look for direct and indirect opportunities to protect values at risk. Particularly threatened are values in the northeast flank of the fire. And I did that. I verified looking at old maps where historic structures used to be and satellite maps of today, and verified there were a lot that were still there. I'm very worried for the cultural heritage of the area, the gold rush heritage, the mines, up there in the high altitudes, especially on the Nevada side of things. Wood preserves pretty perfectly, and you can have old stamp mills and stuff just blown in the wind, still erect. Like it's pretty amazing the level of preservation you can get up there, unless fire happens. Then it's all gone in an instant. So Josh says the storms prevented them last night from getting aircraft base mapping. Yeah, pretty fierce. And sometimes, I mean, it can just be thick enough to prevent laser penetration. Thermal updrafts and such can be a real hazard for flying, and this area is already known as the graveyard of airplanes. People get seduced by, they're flying around the valley and they get seduced by the cool mountain views. Let's just bank my aircraft over there and take a look, and they don't understand the roller coaster effect of winds that come up off Nevada that are fierce and hot and high, and then they will increase in speed going over the top of the mountains and down the California side, and this can just slam aircraft. All of a sudden, it's making sounds like nip, 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 and you got search and rescue out. So winds up there are pretty hellish, not only for aircraft but for firefighters on the ground. And I can't imagine being a firefighter in an aircraft. You just have thermal updrafts. They're just really hard to deal with in situations like this, and it's hazardous. We have to take our hats off for the bravery involved in all of that, all the aerial firefighting as well as what goes on the ground too. So Tamarack projected incident activity. The fires anticipated to continue to be extreme to very active as warm and dry weather conditions return. Fuels are critically dry and the fire indices are at record levels. Fire spread to the northeast is anticipated. So the fuels involve timber, brush, and mixed conifer. Now, InsaWeb does not have a Dixie Fire because that's CAL FIRE's territory. Wait, no, it does. Shut my mouth. They made one. Looks like it went over into federal lands, and so CAL FIRE will probably have its own updates. But I totally forgot. InsaWeb is for Dixie Fire as well. I'm looking for a quick update. Sorry if I'm making anybody car sick with this scrolling. I'm going to refresh. We don't have any new updates. Let's look at the Beckworth. It's in the neighborhood. It's 88% contained now. It doesn't mean 100%. While that looks good on paper, when red flag conditions, And we had similar containment when the bear fire got out of control and became the North Complex killing monster, killer monster last year. But knock on wood, so far that is good news to hear that that's 88% contained to people up there in Plumas and Lassen County, and Doyle have been hammered. There's a red flag warning in effect until, well, it ended tonight. I don't think that's true. I think it must still be in effect or something very similar. This was updated 2 hours ago. Well, we still know that thunderstorms and high winds can happen, so it's good as red flag. The Plumas National Forest occupies a million and some change acres of scenic mountain lands in the northern Sierra Nevada mountains just south of the Cascade Range. The Plumas is versatile as land features uncrowded and enhanced by pleasant climate. Outdoor enthusiasts are attracted to its many streams and lakes, beautiful deep canyons, rich mountain valleys, meadows, and lofty peaks, and history. They should add. And history. You can't throw a rock without hitting some sort of an old mine. So this, just like the Tamarack, started by lightning. That's up there at the Beckworth complex. So let's see if there's an outlook for it. Oh, there's an outlook. Okay. They plan to hold an improved fire line and mop up the extent necessary to keep the fire within its current perimeter. This is the Beckworth. Continue to assist the local forest and adjoining units by providing resources for initial attack should the need arise. Projected incident activity with the Beckworth. Fire activity is diminished significantly. Expect smoldering and creeping. No movement outside of the current perimeter is expected. Outflow winds from thunderstorms will continue to threaten containment and test those lines. So fingers crossed for everybody near Doyle and the Beckworth and Lassen County, Lassen/Plumas County. Josh says looking like the weather is going to be favorable for air ops the rest of the week. We hope so, yeah. I mean, it says after 2 days, things will be sunny. But the thing is about air ops is we need enough wind to blow the smoke away. We don't need it to be windy enough to make the fire explode, which would make so much smoke that they couldn't see. It's very much a visual game for flying. And so we were happy to see lots and lots of, sunny forecasts last year, only to see that the smoke, if it isn't blown away to some other state or whatnot, can just fill the whole area and make day turn into night. And we saw planes grounded for days. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that is true. I'm so sorry, folks, but I'm absolutely falling asleep at the wheel and need my rest. This is one of those all we can do is wait and see kind of issues. I don't see any aircraft scouting right now. We can turn back to the CalTopo and see if we've had an update, if there's anything new with the GOES satellite. It looks pretty similar. The erratic wind patterns are in general blowing north towards Chester are still present, and so we can't really know what it's going to do. But it's weird. The winds are now converging in a cyclonic action around the fire. Whoops! Oh gosh, I almost fell out of my chair. Excuse me. Kind of whacked my headset. If that made a sound, I'm sorry. Oh yeah, Josh, look how they swirl over here. They come out of the south, and then they swirl up this way and come right back down that canyon. It's cyclonic. It's gosh, do we have any webcams? That's one thing I forgot about. Let's look at alert wildfire. I almost forgot about them webcams. So this will tell us better than words what's going on. So once we click on this, we should get a pop-up for all the cams. Hey, Except I don't want to play nice. Do I have to give you cookies? What is it you need for the website to play nice? Bear with me a second. We will get these webcams up. I don't know why it functioned yesterday. It just decided to up and die on me today. It's just kind of been one of those days. Okay, alert wildfire. Oh, that's right. They have a beta, the 2.0 website. This one works so much better. I'm sorry if I'm making you car sick. Now we can click turn off our dark overlay, which protects my retinas. It ain't working. It ain't working. Okay, it is now working. Go figure. Let's get eyes on the Dixie Fire. There's the moon. We don't see it from that vantage point at Butte Lake. Okay, let's look towards the northwest. Dire Mountain. That could be the fire. Let's look at the last hour, see an animation, and see if that's fire. It kind of looks like city lights. So, yeah, Eleanor East, isn't it? Okay. Then let's Bald Mountain Butte. There's the fire. Big alien. Okay. Now we have unfocus camera here, but you can see the infrared. That's the heat coming up off the clouds. Oh, and in the foreground we've got some first responder vehicles or forestry or who knows. The headlights are up in front of the camera here. Let's do a longer time lapse. Let's see what happened in the last 12 hours. Yeah. Oh, you can see him making a line. There's dozer crews. Wow. We don't often see that. Right in front of us. They are unsung heroes, dozer crews are. It makes me want to sing right now. Man on the line. But I won't violate your eardrums with my cacophony. You can see the fire move. It's like, you know what? I don't like this neighborhood anymore. I'm going to greener pastures. It's like, bye. I'm going north. Look at it. That is unreal. Just as we were getting a nice aerosol sunset, thank you, courtesy of the fire, it switches into infrared, and we could see still the white is not flames. The white is heat signature up into the clouds as it's just venting huge amounts of heat. We could see the clouds going by. And you can see why the fire is moving, that the wind is a lot swifter at that elevation. Just look at those clouds go by. Focus on the clouds. They are traveling. So that's what Hawkins Peak is. Okay, great. I'll take a look at Hawkins Peak. But that's why you can't exactly trust forecasts for ground level. I mean, that's what weather forecasts generally are. Weather stations are ground level unless you're launching balloons. You can't actually know actual wind speed. And even when I fly my drone 300 feet up, you can see it being buffeted by winds when my hair is barely moving at the surface. So Hawkins Peak, let's go take a look at it for the Tamarack. Just got it's Indian Ridge, Hamilton, Dyer. Can't remember which. Oh, Hawkins is a mountain down here, right? That guy. Radio Hill. Guessing the fires are going to lay down a bit tonight with the high relative humidity overnight. Hopefully, but the 25 mile an hour, that's Quincy. The 25 mile an hour wind gust is not looking good. You know, that kind of thing is wasn't exactly nice. The Tamarack and such, they said extreme behavior is forecast. It's still extreme. It's going to be quite a challenge. The Dixie Fire is just running wild right now. But the only thing about the Dixie Fire that's a silver lining is since the Paradise Fire and others, there's a lot of existing lines for them to fall back on that should be dust off and make yourself right at home. You are currently viewing a beta site. Yeah, we understand that. Let's turn this button on. Um, whoops. Yeah, we don't need to be at Red Bluff. I'm just going to generally Google that. Hawkins Alert Wildfire. Yeah, Hawkins Peak. I was hiding underneath another one. Sierra at Tahoe. There, found it. Let's click on that. Thank you for the tip, Josh. You are man of the hour again tonight. Let's take a look. Oh, and you just linked it. I just found it. Yeah, thank you anyway. I know you got my back. That's cool. All right, let's do a 12-hour. What happened today? Where did it all go wrong? Yeah, I did. Oh, we saw a flame retardant drop there with an airplane. Did you see that splash? That was a red splash. There was a firefighter, and I think I'll leave the channel with that tonight. Fire Department Chronicles is the best, dark humor, sarcasm channel for firefighters to just delight in. He was talking about why wildland firefighters should make more than the minimum wage. He is a riot. I love him. Yeah, they don't make it easy. It was almost like this was a framed website with Flash. Like I remember making websites like this. Back in the day, the Angel Fire was around and MySpace. It's primitive, but and they don't lock the focus of these webcams. It's like, seriously? Did you really think you needed to refocus these webcams? They should always be on focus on the horizon. Just lock that down. Thank you. What an ugly sight. But let's go back. Watch the red splash down here as we got a really low pass of an airplane. I'm going to try to click on it and grab the frame. There was, by God, a little bit of rain, just like they said. But in the midst of this, lightning. So you see a smoke over there. It just shot up right there. So I bet lightning had just zapped that area. It's very possible. Whoa, the camera swung around. Oh, God, that made me nauseated. Apologize, folks. I'm operating with a fever here. Camera cannot make up its mind. I think I missed the red splash. May have been much closer. Look at that. It's like a volcano. If you said this was a Hawaiian volcano, for a second it does look like that, and it looks like lava, the pink glow. Ugh. Look at the huge amount of landscape that's just been burned up. There's no way they saved all the history and all the structures in there. I was looking at ancient maps. There was a whole lot of loss right there. A lot. We just went up in smoke. Carney's lasers. Yep. Carney's awesome. That's our running gag here. Whew. What a fun day. Anything captured from this far back? I'm curious about Leak Springs. Let's go to a 6-hour. It's facing the general direction, and I don't know what it is we're supposed to be seeing. Is that lightning? Maybe those flashes were lightning. Read a report that fires about 2 to 4 miles from the Nevada border. Yeah, that's what InstaWeb was saying. Um, it'll enter Nevada. It probably already has if the report, I mean, is stale. That's not far. We get updates about once an hour. I'm gonna go back and see if that was lightning. That was kind of intriguing. We saw little flashes flashing up there at the clouds, and then there was a smoke right there. It's unlikely to capture a lightning bolt because this is a time lapse. It takes a frame like every minute. However, we could see the reflection of the light off of other surfaces or nearby lightning. And the fact that there was that smoke right there, I wonder. California and Nevada shared an earthquake and a fire then, Josh? Yeah. Hey, Bugs. You know what's so weird and eerie today is I was thinking about California earthquakes because every time I go to a certain restaurant, there's an earthquake that happens in California and I get a notification on my phone. And so today I wanted to go to that restaurant and I thought, haha, it's a good thing I didn't go to that restaurant because there would have been an earthquake in California today. And I refreshed the news and went, what? uh, okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. That cam. These others sometimes face the proper direction. Let's see a 6-hour time lapse from this ski resort. What? Oh God. Oh God, I'm gonna be ill. Oh, don't look at it if your car's sick. What is going on here? Did somebody just spin this? Did the winds break it off and just decide to? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I afflicted you guys with that. That far away, I wouldn't imagine, but who knows? Let's take a 6-hour. Cute that tree. Yep, you can see. By God, you can see the fire from that far away. The west shore of Tahoe. Wow. And there, wow, you could see that huge blow up. I mean, there's no other way to say that. It just was like an explosion over there. Unreal. Is that a Joshua tree? Because 100 earthquakes happen per day in California, not 5.0. Not 5.0 bugs. And every time I go to that restaurant, it's 5.0 or above, or it says 6. So, it's a story for another day. It's just one of those that people don't believe except I have witnesses, but maybe only the witnesses believe me. It's one of those extremely eerie coincidences. Uh, okay. I'm going to rewind that. I want to see that again. This is kind of beautiful. And there goes. So the timestamp at that point was 8:30, where that huge puff of smoke goes up, and another one at was at 9:30. But it's leaving. The fire is like, I'm out of here. Dang. So there we have it. I want to leave us with Fire Department Chronicles, unless there's some development here. When was last update on the GOES satellite? We could check this out, Andy. And we're back in Oregon at the Canby fire. Come on, go back to. Oh wait, that's flight radar. Okay, sorry, wrong button now. We can go. Excuse me. Let me look forward. Did I accidentally shut down Caltopo? I think I did. So let me reopen a closed tab. Nope. Where'd Caltopo go? Okay, fever is worsening. Yeah, I must have closed that. We'll go back to Markleeville, California. Go to outdoors. Fire activity. Yeah, I don't see anything unusual there. And this looks pretty similar from what we were seeing. Just a fire making its way in a direction of Chester, slowly but surely, and Seneca and Caribou. The Caribou power plant is pretty neat. I want to show you a picture of it. And it was spelled Caribou with two O's back in the Gold Rush. I find that adorable. The Gold Rush Town Caribou Power Plant, California. Okay. Images. Isn't that cool? That's the kind of thing that, like, you'd expect Nikola Tesla or Edison to just kind of walk out and enjoy their evening and have a cigar. You know, these are the kind of buildings they worked in and set up. And it's pretty amazing, the engineering marvels. California is one of the hardest landscapes to live in, to generate power, to try to control the floods, try to control the fires. I mean, it's an epic challenge. Some of the most challenging landscape in the world, extremely diverse and absolutely unique in geography, and so you don't have these challenges anywhere else. But this is pretty critical infrastructure for the area and historic. Um, the fire's going right towards it right now, but you can see how rocky it is. It's a brick building. They've got lots of water, and they've saved it before, so I imagine it's going to come out just fine. Whoopsie. What did I press now? Oh, this is cool. I was looking at this today. This is a pretty awesome site. I'm going to put this in chat if you guys want to check it out. There's this ArcGIS like tour of PG&E's Stairway of Power, and that's the Feather River Canyon, all the dams and all the ancient equipment. I used to look upon this with nothing but awe and wonder and respect as a kid, because I looked up and saw these power lines that had this extremely old looking equipment that was just so cool, so Tesla-esque. You know, the huge spiraling insulators that were the size of as tall as people, you know, and the little retro looking high tension lines that were like men with their arms up. You know, I always, as a kid, imagined them as like giants with their arms up, like a statue of a giant holding up the power lines. God, I never imagined as a kid that me and my grandma and everybody since, you know, the World War One era who was looking up at those lines, that they never replaced them and they were the originals, ready to fail because they're 98 years old, and that caused 94 to 98 years old, and that caused the deadly fire at Paradise and erased a lot of what I used to know in the entire region. And so if you go look at the Hamilton Branch Powerhouse, this is the neatest thing. It'll move you around on the map. The Prattville Intake Tower is this mysterious tower in the middle of the lake. As you're driving along towards Chester, I always wondered, what is that tower? When I was a kid, I thought it was some sort of like a private residence. It looks like a castle tower. And I figured mermaids and stuff were underneath there, and the Mermaid King, that was his tower. Let's see here. And then you have the Butte Valley Powerhouse. What an incredible name. I was hoping that picture would get bigger. That was considerably ugly compared to Caribou. But then so is the name. And there's Butte Valley Reservoir. I think there's a couple of ghost towns drowned under there. And then, yeah, Caribou Powerhouse 1. pretty nice, picturesque. They don't really allow you to tour it, but these people are just, that scares me right there. It's an optical illusion. I think that railing is pretty high, but that is some certain death. It's just a class 5 and class 6 rapids below this point. I mean, you better be good to shoot the feather. Most people shooting the feather on rapids, they really know when to pull out and don't face certain things. Caribou Powerhouse 2, it's another ugly one. But this tube and similar ones like it up Highway 70, they make a throaty roar like a giant dragon. And when I was a child, my dad said, I said, "Dad, is there a dragon?" He goes, "Yeah, on the other side of the mountain, and this is his breathing tube." And I went, "No way!" And then it went, just like echoed throughout the canyon. It reverberated off the back of the canyon, went back into my child's ears, and I hid behind Mom's dress. It was right on cue, and he didn't know that it was going to be on that cue, but it was just a guess. He goes, "Yeah." And then there was a roaring, and that was just totally perfect. If that had been captured on video, that would be one of those viral things. Oak Flat Powerhouse, and it moves you down towards Lake Oroville. And it'll tell you about the history. The Belden Powerhouse, this is the dragon as well. That thing roars and screams occasionally. And the Rock Creek Reservoir and Dam, we're getting closer to Lake Oroville. And the Bucks Creek Powerhouse, that's another nice stately one. That would make really cool, like hipster apartment living if they ever decommission it one day. Rock Creek Powerhouse, going downstream. Cresta Power Dam. Now that's the cool tunnel. That tunnel is amazing. I mean, just pure glacial action right there. Carved that. And there's quite a story about how they blasted that with black powder. And I don't know if the Chinese did it for the labor, but they have several tunnels like that for the train as well. And there's some rock falls in front of it every once in a while. But if you look at over here where you can't see over to the right, it's like this, you know, giant waterfall used to be here. Probably was during the Ice Age when the glaciers were melting, because the glaciers filled all these valleys. And it's completely smooth, and there's these weeping rocks because it's like miniature waterfalls just weeping out of the rocks. And then there's these like crystal paths that they go down. I don't know if it's salt or other minerals, calcite probably. And it's pretty amazing. And you look at it with awe because any little pebble or boulder or anything, it can't catch on any latch. There's nowhere for it to go. And so any boulder or whatever just comes crashing down, and it really has the force of like car crushing force. We've seen, trains and such derailed. And I think it's the other side of the canyon at this point, but the train cars sticking off the canyon on the other side with the train cars just going down like this, hanging down like strings on a necklace and kind of swaying in the breeze like it's some sort of a giant pendulum. And it was pretty unreal. One time there was a huge rock fall in front of us, and everybody in the canyon just stopped and watched in awe as it was going crack, 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 and tumbling down here. But that's one of the coolest things to see. Here's the Cresta Powerhouse. It was near here that the Paradise Fire started. This is by Polga. And Poe Power Dam. This is the one that still exists. There was another dam, which I learned today from this site. And it said the Poe Powerhouse is the last PG&E powerhouse above Lake Oroville. It lies just above the maximum high water mark for Lake Oroville, which is 900 feet. Before Lake Oroville was built, another diversion dam just downstream of the Poe Powerhouse diverted water through Big Bend Mountain to a powerhouse at Bidwell Bar. But this facility was flooded by Lake Oroville, and I do believe it may be underwater and visible now because Orville's Lake Orville's levels are near historic lows. I do believe ghost towns can be seen now, which is why I wanted to plan a trip, such as like next week, to see all this stuff. It's a window of opportunity you get like every decade or two, but it's pretty quote normal. If you think of I'm not saying this year's weather is normal, but California just fluctuates between flood and drought years. There really isn't like a normal as the rest of the country would figure it. Either the Pacific Ocean is doing stuff to make too little rainfall and snowpack, or too much, and there's not much in between. So the flood years can refill all this stuff and refill aquifers and dip down and um, erase 5 years of drought in a row with like one single month of torrential downpour on top of heavy snowpack. You really can't tell what the year's going to do, and they try their best to keep the levels where it should be. Like if they think that there's not going to be that much snow, then they'll keep the dam high. But if there is a bit more snow and then there's a pineapple storm from Hawaii that rains on it in, say, February, and the water levels were already high, well, they can't drain fast enough, and they have to just let everybody downstream know you have to evacuate. And that's going to be the story of your life if you live anywhere in the valley here, south of any of these dams, Folsom, Orville, any one of these levees. Every single river is not just a riverbank. Every single one has walls. Every river is walled by earthen levees. Um, and when one of them breaks, then huge swaths of the valley floods because it just diverts just a trillions of gallons of water and spreads it across the valley uncontrolled. It's a huge, careful balancing act they got to do, and it's difficult. So when people say, "Oh, you guys let the water get too low. You're mismanaging it. You let it get too high." I mean, really, it's a crapshoot. I'm never too critical about that. Um, when they made mistakes, entire towns disappeared underwater in flooding. My family's been wiped out by some of those. So when they err on the side of caution and it gets too low, I am not a critic. Not at all. I'm not saying that happened this year, but in general, it's really kind of what newbies do when they criticize that management. They just don't know how difficult it is. Okay, today I was shared a viral video, and I want to actually show you that because out on the subject of levees, there's not much more to monitor with the fire. If anybody has any questions, this is a last call. I couldn't believe this. I get shared by somebody who doesn't know I'm from this area. And the it was called "What Did I Just Witness?" There's no better way to illustrate what levees are and what they do. Then I'll show you what they are and what they do here. Let's go to 1080p here. There is no sound for this video. I'll narrate, I'll make the sound effects. Boom, boom, boom. And it's a lovely day by Yuba City. We're gonna, oh my God! Actually, there was a faint screaming in the back, but it's, holy crap. Let's see that again. So this, boys and girls, is a levee. It is not a ramp for jumping your car. It is indeed a levee. However, some people may not have seen the signs. Dang. Now, when I saw this, I said, oh, okay, I know exactly where that is. Been there many times fishing. Unreal. So that's how I found out that the Dixie Fire got out of control, because somebody showed me this video, and I went to KCRA to figure out what on earth was this about. And that's when it said Dixie Fire, new evacuations ordered, and so I jumped on here. The other thing I wanted to show you was, hang on a second, I'll leave you with Fire Department Chronicles. If you need to relax after all this fire stuff, this guy, he has got you covered. He's a firefighter, a real one, and he has made a comedy sketch comedy channel. Oh, it's the best thing ever. It's just real dark humor. It's real, almost Jim Carrey, and it's classical Jim Carrey delivery type, animated, you know. So he's pretty intense, but a very nice guy. And his overall message today is pretty important. Whoops. It wasn't EMS deserves better pay. Hang on a second. I am on the wrong video. He has one for wildland firefighters. So let me just get that one. Fire Department Chronicles. Wildland. There we go. Get on the right video. I am so very much into this message. Here you go. Here you go, folks. And as soon as this is over, unless there's anybody asking for last call for fire information, then we'll just watch this and I shall go to bed. So let me turn up my own volume here. Josh says, nothing surprises me that comes out of the Central Valley. Yeah. You know, my Australia friend watched videos like that, and she said, that's bogan. And I said, what's bogan, Precious? And she goes, oh, I think you guys have a term for that called redneck. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So in Australia they have that. So let's play this. Why wildland firefighters deserve so much respect. There is no sound. Why is there no sound? Hang on, I'm gonna fix the audio, y'all. If it ain't bouncing for you, you can't hear it.
Moron who doesn't know how to.
Okay.
You know, it seems like every year right around this time, some moron who doesn't know how to put out a campfire, or some guy smoking a nice cancer stick in his convertible flicks it out the window and sets 97% of the world on fire. And while most of us are sitting on our couches watching this madness unfold on TV, oh my God, babe, all of Australia and California are on fire. Hey, you want to watch Priceless, right? There's a select few brave souls heading out into that fiery, woodsy madness to save all the Bambis, bears, and romantic cabins that we love so much. So let's take a couple seconds to talk about the reasons why wildland firefighters deserve so much more respect than we give them. Most firefighters work the traditional 24-hour on, 48-hour off work schedule, but not wildland firefighters. They do something called a roll.
They see me rolling.
A roll is 14 straight 16-hour days doing all the things that no one in firefighting wants to do. You see, when most people think about wildland firefighting, they think about all the cool air tankers dropping off water and red anti-fire sparkly powder. But 99% of all wildland firefighting is done with a shovel. Yeah, a shovel. You see, firefighters need to create something called a fire line. A fire line is where they get rid of as much fuel source as possible so this giant fire can't continue its deadly path towards humanity. So they get rid of all the trees, shrubbery, crap on the ground, and whatever you threw out your window because you're a crappy human. But this involves digging into the ground 3 to 4 feet deep and as wide as 30 feet depending on the topography or the type of wood that's burning. And depending on the location of the fire, they may have to hike a few miles just to get to where they're gonna start doing work. I mean, could you imagine showing up in the morning and your boss says this? Jim, thanks for coming in, buddy. The new office is about 1.5 miles up that mountain over there if you want to go ahead and head up. And oh, by the way, if you get eaten by a bear, it's not workman's comp. But what makes wildland firefighting so incredibly dangerous, besides the obvious things like getting eaten by a bear or if Bambi finally decides to exact her revenge on humanity, wildland fires have an unlimited supply of oxygen and fuel, so they can grow to such incredible sizes that they can actually create their own weather patterns. That means that they are unbelievably unpredictable and can change direction at any point in time. And depending on the size of the fire and the fuel source, these fires can move as fast as a football field a second. What? But what I think's most impressive about these guys and girls is that at the end of the day of fighting fires and digging ditches, they're not going back to a nice comfy bed or a hotel room. They're laying their sleeping bags down on the same forest floor that they're there to protect, trying to get as much sleep as possible, and waking up the next day and doing it again. So next time you're out, you see a wildland firefighter or you come across one on your Facebook or Instagram, take a second. Give them a little shout out. They deserve it.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Now, that is the sickest outro music. I think I should get some, but I could never equal his. I mean, his are pretty amazing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, he has amazing comedic videos. In fact, we're going to watch this one too, and then I swear we're going to sign off. I just want to turn you guys onto the channel because I feel like we all need a little bit of relaxation from all the stress every once in a while. And firefighter humor is just pretty damn amazing. Okay, this is the last one, I swear. Oh, Josh says live streamers, stringers, yeah, they drive around and go to police calls filming everything. Oh, I see. Ambulance chasers. Yeah, I have to work very hard to differentiate myself from people like that when I show up at fire scenes and whatnot. Like, hi guys, I'm actually a concerned citizen trying to help. I've got a cell phone and everything, but I swear I'm not one of them. All right, let's watch this. This is pretty hilarious.
Need to talk. So it seems like every year there's some kind of shortage where everyone loses their freaking mind, buys up as much of that item as they possibly can, like last year with the toilet paper, which I still cannot understand. Buy a bidet, people. Seriously, you will actually feel refreshed after pinching one off. And to all my EMS and fire friends out there, we all know the worst feeling in the world is attempting to rage wipe your sphincter because you just caught a call in the middle of dropping off a precious number 2. Well, if you put a bidet in your station toilet, you could go from dirty to squeaky clean with 5 seconds of high-pressure water hitting your no-no spots, then actually show up to your calls feeling fresh and happy. But now apparently we've had 3 teenagers from the movie Hackers break into a major pipeline, shutting it down, sending America into a major gasoline hoardathon. Which would be totally fine, but now we have people transporting fuel in their vehicles doing stuff like this and this. Oh, and my by far favorite, this. And because this lack of appropriate judgment will inevitably end in you, your car, and probably somebody else no longer existing on this plane of existence, I wanted to quickly go over why transporting fuels inside of uncapped, unsealed containers is such an incredibly stupid idea.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
You see, when most people picture gasoline lighting up, they picture the movies where it's a nice progressive movement of flames into the eventual pile of whatever they're lighting on fire. But that's not how vapors work. We've seen that in people attempting to light up Jeeps by dumping a bunch of gasoline in there, letting it sit for 2 minutes, and then, holy crap, how did I end up on the other side of the neighborhood? These vapors don't light up slowly. You go from 0 to heaven, or whatever you believe in an instant. And when you're driving around with that fuel sloshing around in your trunk, giving off vapors, filling up your car, jamming out to the newest Cardi B hit, Biff Boo, boy, you finna blow up.
From the top, make it jump.
When you light up that cigarette or your butt rubbing on that nice seat finally lights up those vapors with a static shock. Boom, boom goes the dynamite. Thanks for playing. And the typical response to stuff like this is,
Jason, it only affects me. What does it matter if I explode?
it doesn't. Because when you blow up and that nice little kid is driving down the street with their mommy or daddy playing the newest kids game on their iPad, your car explodes, and now whatever's left of your lovely gray brain matter is all over their iPad screen, I'm willing to say it has no longer affected just you. But I'm not here to control your life. I think personal choice is an incredible thing, and we all deserve to make our own choices. But there's two very specific things that I want you to remember before turning this video on. Number one, not all plastics are the same. The containers that you're putting that in, like Walmart plastic bags or just plastic bags in general, those plastics are being broken down by the gasoline being weakened and will eventually rupture inside of your vehicle. And two, if you think having to ride a bus or walk or possibly carpool with other people to save fuel is bad, try spending 2 years inside of a burn unit, having your skin scrubbed off, and then hopefully reapplied 1,000,000 freaking times.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
Okay, so if you need to escape all this bad news, because at this point it's a wait and see game. What's gonna be? Oh, look at that stream. Maybe we should watch that one. Right now it's a wait and see game. You know what's gonna be left standing in the morning. You might as well just chill at this point. We don't have any fire chatter to listen to. Watching the maps will just drive us insane. Let's just hope everything works out in the morning, and that even though it may rampage through the wilderness, the Dixie and Tamarack fires, hopefully they will be able to go ahead and encircle and protect historic and private assets that people's homes and livestock, pets, and history that's out there. Oh, hey Morris, yeah, sorry, I've got to say goodnight. I was trying to go to bed a couple hours ago and I saw this. So let's just all pray for Belden and other places down here, and the Tamarack and Doyle and everybody else affected. The Bootleg still rampaging around up here too. So check the Hawkins Peak camera again. Okay, you're gonna keep me awake. You're gonna keep me awake. Where did it go? I'm just gonna scroll up. It's creeping up the ridge. Oh my god. Oh, you have a lightning map link. I'm so sorry. I didn't even see it. I'm gonna open the... Where'd it go? Okay. Let's do a 6-hour. Yeah, there's wet, sooty ash all over the lens. They had a little bit of rain. It was just too light. Ugh. There it goes. Going towards Nevada. There it goes. Yeah, get some sleep. Yeah, I really need to. I didn't sleep yesterday. So I'm about to sign off. Oh, hey, Tim. Sorry about the night crew shift guys coming around. I didn't sleep last night. I've been nauseated all day. That's why I wasn't here. I was, being penitent. I was kneeling, praying before the white bowl, occasionally dropping my gastronomic donation to the god of nausea. Oh. So I'll leave you with that, guys. It's burning towards the camera. This part is. That part went to Nevada. But like I said, the winds are swirly up there. That one's running up the hillside towards the west. And we can kind of verify that it's doing that with CalTopo. Here we don't have too much satellite imagery. This is surprisingly old. We don't see the red here. And that just happens every once in a while. They may be redirecting satellites elsewhere. So yeah, I would imagine it's this. Or this, going this way. where the fires in general are going that way because of the wind. Yep, wind driving up that way. Going up that way. But like I said, it can shift. I mean, these are the mountains. They're unpredictable. This is the airplane graveyard. Okay. You guys have a great night, and I will check in tomorrow, I believe, if I can. This is some fearsome nausea here I got. So, you got another camera for me? Stop doing this. Stop. I'm gonna go loony. Okay. You can see it clearly from Bald Mountain, Nevada. Oh God, that is an orange glow. Look at the pink and the purple actions from the aerosols. Same thing we see in volcanoes. They're finding out the aerosols contribute a hell of a lot more to global warming than they ever figured. I could have told you that. I took an oceanography class, volcanology oceanography. They're a missing part of the puzzle in the fight. Yeah, that is a fire. Coming towards the camera too. So get ready, Nevada. Elijah says, good night all, and hopefully you feel better soon. Thank you. Yep, I'm sure I will. I stay abreast of the situation in general and try to hop back on if some crisis happens, just like we had the fire surrounding Belden with the Dixie Fire. Everybody listening, I hope you fare well tonight. And once I feel a little bit better, we'll come back. And let's look at the weather here. I was wondering if we were able to see lightning happening perhaps now. I think the major storm kind of moved on, though. This is... I don't know what those dots are about. I don't see lightning right now. But, oh, that's right. You gave me a link to real lightningmaps.org. Oh, that's cool. Let's see this mess. Wow. That's a good link. Thanks for sharing. Okay, we will investigate this tomorrow. For now, I'm probably going to just face plant onto the bed, wake up fully clothed with my shoes on, and wonder why my face hurts, and figure out that my cell phone is right against my nose and over my left eye. So, have a good night, y'all, and farewell. Oh, Silent Warrior told you the fire would eat that town. You're so right. What do you predict will happen to Seneca? Silent Warrior. Saved or burned? Let us know. Quick, I want to go to bed. What does your psychic power say about Seneca and the Dixie Fire? I need some hope. Is Seneca going to burn tonight? Because it's facing the same fate as Markleeville was the other night. So since you are a psychic, and I'm facetious, what say you? Shake up your 8-ball and tell me, is Seneca going to make it? Bugs says save. You're not familiar with the Dixie Fire? Yeah, but you're a psychic. You don't have to be familiar with nothing. You just gotta shake your 8-ball. Or like, eat some mushrooms in trance. Dixie may have been started by PG&E. Yeah, I read that in the Rage today, and I really cursed up a storm before I started the stream and tried to center myself as best I can. Josh says outlook not so good. Oh dear God. Silence says I only get feelings. Okay, that's all right. Yeah, I know. I'm messing with you. Outlook not so good. Yeah, you know there are magic 8-balls on some web pages. You either get or don't get feelings. I know. I'm actually dead serious that I believe you, but I'm being playful right now. I didn't cuss last year. What's up with that? I have a penchant for cursing whenever people around me are doing so, and if I'm watching movies and shows that do that. I just sort of take up what's going on, and man, you should see me after I watch HBO's Deadwood, and you know, stop talking and go to bed. Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I shall obey. I'm steering the destroyer towards home. We're gonna dock soon. And I'll check in with you guys tomorrow. I'm feverish and haven't slept for days. And dehydrated, but I will go take care of myself now. What happens if I watch Cinemax? Well, I get arrested for public disorder. Yeah, Deadwood. I want to quote Deadwood so much right now, Mr. Wu. Oh my God, the funniest thing about Deadwood was my mom, who's a boomer, was thought he was delightful, and she says his famous white beeper all the time, like on the road if somebody cuts her off. It's magnificent. Okay, y'all. I am going to sleep. Godspeed. Good luck, everybody. And remember, when you can't do anything, just relax and watch Fire Department Chronicles. It's good humor. I'll check in whenever I can and see if I can stream. I'll be on if I can. I reckon that it would be evening time if so. But have a good day, y'all, and I'll be with you next time.